This is exactly why NFTs and cryptocurrency are the future. And this is going to be a very quick video for all the people that are new to the crypto world, explaining to them exactly what Web3 is, what cryptocurrency really is, what NFTs really are. And this is all just my opinion, but I've done a lot of research. I've made multiple millions of dollars in crypto in the last year, but this is all just my opinion, so take it as you will. The first thing to understand is you have to look back at the history of the internet. So initially the internet was just a place for information to transfer. And that ultimately is what the internet is. It's just a means of connecting information from different places in the world into one central place. But initially the internet didn't really have anything. It just kind of had a bunch of random websites on there when they created the World Wide Web. Well, email and AOL, exactly, all that stuff started popping off. And then eventually there was a company that came along, and there was actually a bunch of companies that came along back in the 90s that were search engines. And we all know Google today. And what they did was they categorized that information. They put it all in an easy to read and easy to find format so that anybody can find information on the internet. And that was like one of the biggest parts of Web 1.0 was connecting the dots with the basics of the internet. And then Web 2 came out, and Web 2 was all about social interaction. So before it was just having like blatant information on the internet, and then it became about connecting with other people on the internet. So that's where we saw Facebook and, MySpace before them. And then we saw Twitter, and we saw, even outside of social media necessarily, we saw things like Tinder pop off, right? Where again, it's all about connecting people. So then the question is, well, what is Web 3 going to do? And that's kind of a broad answer, but in my opinion, Web 3 is all about making transactions and ownership of assets easier, right? It's showing that, hey, I can move around $1 billion in 2 seconds without having to drive down to a local bank branch or log into my bank portfolio and wait for them to wire transfer it. And it takes 7 days, and God forbid I send it to the wrong place, and then I got to call them again. And, that's what Web3 is all about. It's without having to go through this crazy court process to show that I bought a house and I've got to go through escrow for a month. That's what Web3 is all about. So ultimately, that's the first understanding you have to have about Web3 is it's all about showing ownership and not say financial transactions as a whole, but just making money easy, bringing money to the modern age. And so hopefully that makes sense. That's the first kind of thing you have to understand. Now, looking at cryptocurrency, in my opinion, cryptocurrency is actually a misnomer mistitled to make it easier to understand. Cryptocurrency as a whole, the vast majority of it is not a currency, like just to be frank with you. A lot of these tokens that are launching off, they'll never be used as currency. So everybody thinks, and including me, I'm like, oh, well, Bitcoin's not a real currency because you can't buy anything with it, at least right now. And the value goes up and down all the time and all that. And those are all incredibly true statements that, are absolutely true. What cryptocurrency really is it's a different means of having value. So let me explain. What a lot of companies are doing nowadays in the crypto world is they go and instead of, raising capital the traditional way, maybe, you'd go to a lender and get a bank loan, a business loan, right? Maybe you would go and you'd have a Series A or an angel round or whatever, right? And you would go raise money from investors and give up half your company. What they're doing nowadays is they're launching crypto-related projects and they're launching a token for that project. And they're raising 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 million dollars to then use towards development of the project. And that's a very creative way that people are using cryptocurrency. And see, it's not a currency. It is and it isn't, right? Another thing that a lot of people are doing nowadays with cryptocurrency too, just to, give you a little bit more idea around it, is they're using it as a means of passive income. So for example, if you have, let's say 100 Ethereum and you're willing to lock that Ethereum up for a certain amount of time, you can then collect interest on that Ethereum as it's being lent out to other people or it's being, locked in liquidity in, different trading platforms. I'm using Ethereum as a basic example because most people know that, but this goes for many, many, many different cryptocurrencies. And so the thing to understand though is that the word currency itself often is confusing because it's not really being used as a currency at all in terms of the real world. You have to look at it right now as there's this crypto world and then there's the real world. And the crypto world is one of the biggest problems with it is it's too focused on the crypto world. It's not focused on actually making a change in the real world. And until a lot of these crypto technology companies focus on changing the real world with this new technology, we won't see mass adoption. There's a great book called Crossing the Chasm that talks all about the adoption cycles of technology. And we're approaching this chasm in the crypto sector where there's going to be a gap. And the gap is basically between people that are just excited about technology and they don't want to be first, but they're excited about technology and they're willing to test it out. And then people who are like, I'm just going to keep using the same thing until something proves it's substantially better. And that's where we're at with crypto right now. And that's where NFTs come into play, because NFTs are like the Trojan horse of getting people that are not into crypto at all into crypto. Because what an NFT is, a non-fungible token, I want you to erase that from your memory. Everybody thinks NFTs are just JPEG images. That's not correct. I mean, they are right now, but that's not actually what the technology does. What the technology does is it's a virtual deed, right? So picture you buy a house, you have a document that says you own the house. What you do when you buy a house is you go and you go to the courthouse and you register that you own the house. And that's how you know that you own the house. But what happens if you lose the document and that courthouse gets hit with a hurricane and their database goes down, right? Well, now there's no proof that you own the house. Now, obviously there's other ways of going about it, but it's going to be much more difficult for you to prove that you own that house. With an NFT, you own it and you instantly own it. It's tied to you until you sell it. You don't have to go register it. Everyone in the world knows you own it. They can look it up, and they don't necessarily know you own it, but they know that your wallet owns it, right? And so it's instant proof of ownership. And it's never been done before, to where, at least up until this point, it can't be hacked. It can't be confiscated in any way, and it can't be edited without you doing something, without you moving it or something like that, right? And so that's why NFTs are so powerful. And right now they're being used as digital images because that's just the use case for them that's, launched first. But very soon they'll be used for everything. They'll be used for everything from, concert tickets all the way up to even houses, right? I mean, you could probably buy real estate and make the NFT the actual deed to the real estate eventually, right? Not right now, but eventually. And so that's my video for you guys. Hopefully that made sense. I don't want to go on too much. I just kind of wanted to give you like my thoughts and theories on crypto. And I know a lot of you guys that are getting into the crypto market. I'm by no means a crypto expert, but like I said, I've made a lot of money in crypto. I've done very well. I also have a business background, and I'm also just a regular guy. I'm 23 years old. I'm not, some super genius or something that's like hacking the internet or something. Like, I don't know. I'm just a regular guy that, has done a lot of research into crypto, and hopefully this has been helpful. So if you like this video, click the like button down below, comment your thoughts if you have any questions, and, subscribe if you like videos like this. We'll post more of them. So hope you enjoy, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.